It's a second round series that I am 100% positive nobody saw coming, especially me. I mean, I picked the Bucks and the Cavs to play in this round, but instead, we have a classic 90s rivalry that's about to be revived with the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat squaring off in round 2 of the Eastern Conference playoffs. The 8th-seeded Miami Heat going up against the 5th-seeded New York Knicks. And has there been a more star-studded round 2 lineup potentially? Game 7 between the Warriors and Kings will be decided tomorrow, but either matchup between the Lakers and the Kings, bringing back some old school rivalries and old school feelings if you're a longtime Sacramento Kings fan. So there's that angle. And, you know, Lakers Warriors is obviously one of the last few times we could potentially see Steph and LeBron play against each other in the playoffs. And then you got Suns Nuggets, which is later tonight. And that's just the basketball nerds' delight. And then, of course, on the other side, you got two just historic Eastern Conference rivalries between the Sixers and the Celtics, and the Heat and the Knicks. There are a few things that I wanted to talk about in this series really quickly, because the series will start tomorrow morning. I won't be able to watch the game. Well, hopefully I won't be able to watch the game because I'll be at the Golden One Center taking in Game 7 and being at the arena a few hours before. Hopefully, we will see. But this matchup, I expect there to be a lot of scores that are actually comparable to the scores that we saw in the 90s when both of these teams squared off in the playoffs all the time. It's going to be a slugfest. Both of these teams are really well coached. Both of these teams like to execute in the half court. Both of these teams go about offense a different way. The New York Knicks, of course, were a top 3 offense all year. The Miami Heat's offense took a major step back in the regular season, but with the reinsertion of Duncan Robinson and Jimmy Butler taking his game to a whole nother level, Gabe Vincent contributing, Kyle Lowry coming back from the dead, the Heat's offense is actually top 6 in the playoffs, and they're kind of back to that form where they were at last year when they were the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Their flow is back a little bit. Their dribble handoff game has been activated a little bit with the reinsertion of Duncan Robinson. Kyle Lowry has given the Heat some much-needed pull-up shooting, and at this stage in Kyle Lowry's career, and given the type of regular season he had, which was not good, the fact that he is able to contribute anything in the playoffs so far and actually be a contributor to eliminating the Milwaukee Bucks, that's got to be huge for Miami. They desperately needed somebody to make some pull-up jump shots in that series, and Kyle Lowry gave him a few crucial baskets. So the Heat's offense has been rounding in the form just in time for the playoffs, and a team that almost got eliminated by the Bulls in the last play-in game, which is crazy that the Heat are this far. But on the other side, of course, we have the New York Knicks, who just got off of a series where they absolutely beat the shit out of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Literally, figuratively, emotionally, whatever other Lee you want to use at the end of the word. The Knicks did all of that to the Cavaliers. Through offensive rebounding, through getting to the free throw line, to picking out defensive matchups that the Knicks liked, like picking out Darius Garland and attacking him, Mitchell Robinson pushing around Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. The Knicks, we all know how the Knicks like to get their points. It's through unconventional means. They get to the free throw line a lot. They get extra possessions because of offensive rebounding. And Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle have been great in isolation this year. And of course, the Knicks come at you in waves. They have all types of players that do different but very valuable things, like Josh Hart, RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, big, strong guards that lean towards wing size. They have centers that do very different things. Mitchell Robinson, very athletic, shot blocker, the best defense of his career this year, one of the best offensive rebounders in the NBA. Isaiah Hartenstein, somebody who plays hard, is a dribble handoff hub, somebody who can finish as a roller in the pick and roll. And then you have defensive specialists off the bench in case things go haywire, like Deuce McBride. Emmanuel quickly finished top 3 in vote getting for 6th man of the year. And the first thing that comes to my mind is, while the Bucks were a top 3 defense and they have 3 guys who will make the All-NBA team this year, Jimmy might not have the explosive playoff Jimmy Butler stat line that we saw him put up in the first round series, because I think the Knicks have more able bodies to throw at Jimmy Butler, not to stop him, to be clear, because I think playoff Jimmy is still going to get his in this series, but guys to slow him down, to mix stuff up, not give him the same diet of defender for multiple possessions in a row, switch it up. You know, you can put Grimes on him. You can put Josh Hart on him. Quentin Grimes if he's healthy, by the way. You can put RJ Barrett on him. Hey, sometimes the Knicks might be comfortable letting Mitchell Robinson switch out on the perimeter every once in a while, compared to Brook Lopez, who, while Brook Lopez is the better defender, Mitchell Robinson brings different things to the table as a defender with his athleticism. He can move his feet a little bit better, so maybe the Knicks are more comfortable leaving Robinson out on an island to switch out onto Jimmy Butler. So that's the first thing that came to my mind, is that the Knicks, while they might not be the better defensive team that the Milwaukee Bucks are, I think the Knicks have more answers to try to take out the Heat's main source of attack, which is Jimmy Butler, obviously. The other thing that comes to my mind is how the Heat are going to stop the Knicks from getting to the free throw line and keeping them off the offensive glass. And obviously starting Kevin Love will help with that a little bit. I don't know how much it will help, and will the trade-off be worth the risk on the other end of the floor if the Knicks decide to pick on Kevin Love? But obviously with, you know, the Heat not having Tyler Hero, not having Victor Oladipo, the rotation shortened a little bit, the Heat don't have many options to try out different things. Eric Spoelstra will, you know, find different lineup combinations and stuff, obviously, but the Heat come into this series pretty limited too. Gabe Vincent's going to have a big series. Jimmy Butler's going to have, obviously, another great series, another playoff Jimmy Butler type series. Bam Adebayo, offensively, I think, is going to need to have a big series. He can't have games like in Game 3 and Game 4 where he scores 12 or 15 points and shoots like 6 for 16 from the field. Bam Adebayo is going to have to lock in on his touch around the rim. He's going to have to lock in on the short roll jumpers if the Knicks play drop coverage. Bam has just got to be a better, I wouldn't even say offensive hub, because the Heat did run a lot of, you know, offensive hub stuff and dribble handoffs with Bam and Duncan Robinson and stuff like that. But just as a scorer, to add another pressure point to the Knicks defense, I think that's going to be critical as well. To me, this is a classic series where this is a one-man band with a top 10 player in the NBA in Jimmy Butler, versus a Knicks team that is deep, has a lot of players that can do a lot of different effective things, and gives the coach more options. And I think this series is going to go 7. It's just, these playoffs have been unpredictable and wild so far. In round 2, like I said, we're getting a bunch of good matchups, and I think this one's going to be a good matchup as well. If I had to pick, my gut is telling me Knicks in 7. My heart is telling me Heat in 7, because I believe in playoff Jimmy Butler. But I'm going to have to go with my gut on this one, which is wild to say, because that means the Knicks would be in the Eastern Conference Finals if they beat the Heat in this series. But that is my choice. Knicks in 7. Can't wait for this series to start.